Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 18, yes, 18 of Mortgage News Live, coming to you from a very hot and sweaty little cupboard under the stairs in leafy Radlett. Thank you for joining us, and thanks as always to our sponsors, MPowered. We have another interesting show this morning where we'll be talking about the much discussed topic of lead flow and client nurturing. But first, in the news, the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee continued to ignore growing calls for a base rate cut and voted by 7-2 to maintain the base rate at 5.25, despite another fall in inflation. So inflation did fall to its target of 2% after many long months. And there's finally something to cheer about. Will it be the shot in the arm for the economy? And will we also see swap rates fall? So far, there's only been a slight fall, but will it be enough to give lenders room to release some summer sizzler products? We all hope so, and Barclays and HSBC, amongst others, have cut rates this week. The Bank of England once again erred on the side of caution, with wage and services inflation staying stuck at levels the bank is still seemingly uncomfortable with. Equally, perhaps cutting rates just before a general election may be considered too political and lead to questions over their independent status. While there is also a concern that current inflation may be temporary and could bounce in the last quarter of the year, but the country desperately needs the boost of a cut to relieve some of the financial pressures that have held back the economy and put borrowers under immense pressure. The Bank of England, in my opinion, is fast running out of excuses, and mortgage borrowers have taken more than their fair share of a battering in the battle against inflation. We need brave action from the bank, and a cut in August or at the very least September must now surely be on the cards. Meanwhile, as the election meanders to a conclusion, we have Fluttergate, with those in the know allegedly betting on the date of an election. What fresh hell is this? Jokers, the lot of them. But before I get too overtly political, hopefully I can be saved by this week's gracious and noble panel. So, welcome Mark Burton, Director of Mark Burton Mortgages and Protection. Welcome, Mark.
Hi, Andrew. Hi, everyone.
Welcome to Ken James, Contractor Mortgage Services. Welcome,
Good
Ken.
morning. Good morning, Monty. Good morning, everyone.
And thanks for stepping in at the very last minute, Ken. And Siobhan Holbrook, Mortgage Advisor at Mortgage Light. It is delightful to have you here, Siobhan.
Hello.
Hello. So first off then, as we always do, we look at the news. There's no rate cut, but inflation is down. June to me seems a little bit slower due to a combination of rates not falling, the election, the football, the sun. What is that? What you guys are seeing? What are you guys seeing in your different areas? And how are you feeling about the election? How are your clients feeling about it? A few questions there. Siobhan.
Yeah,
go on, Siobhan.
So, I love it, you know me. Right, so
that's why you're here, Siobhan. It's to talk. It'd be really dull if you didn't.
So this year I've front end. So my business is made up of two sides: front end inquiries and obviously looking after my back book.
Yeah.
Front end in January I had something like 331 or 360 leads. And then it steadily be declined to the extent at the end of May, I had 199 leads. It's a massive fall away in that I have actually got rid of one of the contracts. But point being, we have seen a marked difference in levels of inquiries. But what we've been doing is really sticking to motivated buyers. So therefore, specifically, I've been getting my sales team to really qualify a client and then just help them buy no matter what they're inquiring about. So what we've been using is a thing called a leaky bucket list. I know it sounds like really like...
I like that. We have a leaky bucket.
Yeah. So in this leaky bucket list, an inquiry will come in and then they will go into an appointment. And then from that appointment, their outcomes will be decision in principle, docs requested, researching, or unable to help. And then from that, we manage what we call a Kanban. So now every week, during the course of this year, I've been getting my team to speak often to their, what I call the decision in principle list.
Yeah.
Searching list, I look every week to see, actually, are they still sitting in there? Why are they not moving from one to the other? Really trying to focus my guys on getting the inquiry to decision in principle. But in turn, if the clients then stick in unable to help, first contact, second contact, unable to contact, we've got an engagement studio, and that engagement studio then sends out marketing pieces during the course of a 12-month cycle, information blog and a call to action. And from that, we've actually seen 60 people go from leaky bucket back into conversion and over.
Ooh, like that.
So it's been a really managed process to try and make more from less.
And do you get, and what is the sense of the election amongst your clients? Is that?
I'm trying more so to make sure my team has the right headspace. So often during the course of this last 18 months, I've been doing lots of training with my team members because we're all under one roof, talking about overcoming objectives, and more so in the educational piece, because a general election 100% causes uncertainty, but it doesn't stop someone getting a decision in principle. The market is a flat market. There's less buyers around. So in my case, that means more opportunity to get maybe a slightly better deal. So even if the rate is higher, you're buying at a flatter market, or maybe you'll be able to chip a bit to then create your future, because a home move isn't a money transaction that's going to give you money 1 or 2 years. A home is a cycle for a period of time. So it's then telling the client what's more important, your home or a deal. So it's just that balance of education.
Oh, like that. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I'll say similar to what you said, Monty. I've definitely noticed, I think, a bit of a slowdown in the last couple of months, in particular this month, with regards to purchases. I think I'm doing the same level of mortgages, but the majority of what I'm doing are remortgages or product transfers, so helping existing clients. I actually did an exercise yesterday where I reached out to all of the clients that we've got a decision in principle with, that are close to expiry. And it was quite interesting to get the feedback that from all of them. I think it was 5 of them that I contacted, and there was all saying just can't find anything suitable. So I think that's as a result of obviously what interest rates are doing, potentially, obviously putting people off, and in turn affecting the stock that's available as well. So seeing a slowdown, the same level of productivity, I'd say, but it's in a different direction. There's more sort of remortgages and product transfers purchasing more recently, I'd say. Inquiry levels have dipped off a little bit this month as well.
I think just to add on that very quickly, what I had to do with my team is, when people are on dating apps, they swipe and they're like, I don't like the look of them. I don't like the look of them. And actually,
I don't know what you mean. I've never been on dating.
But the point being, you're judging at face value. So again, with Rightmove, people are so dismissive of the pictures. We're having to educate people to go and look at the properties. And in estate agents, are we allowed to swear? There's a thing called 2 shittins and a good 'un. So you go and view 2 shit houses.
We're allowed to swear, but public we have.
So, again, Mark,
sorry, MPowered. Don't
executive decision from Monty.
Estate agency language. But point being, it's actually people are so used to swiping, they need to start looking and actually seeing what they get for their money, because it may not fit like 3-bed house, but if it's 2-bed in the right location, you can have a lofted conversion. It's just letting people know how to go about buying. I like the fact you asked if you needed to swear first. It is live, so you can't edit it out. And MPowered, if you're going to have to, when you put this on Spotify, you're going to have that little explicit E to it, which I always think will get more people listening to it. Anyway, Ken, what about you?
Yeah, I've certainly seen I'm just thinking, how can I be controversial? Which
Let's
just
not
by
make
being
it
on,
swear
just
fest,
by
because then we
being
will
on
be
here.
cancelled, yeah.
No, I said that for my own podcast where Glenn has a go at me because I'm a little bit out there. With regards to the market, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? December, the back end of last year, which was not the best year, December was like, wow, look at where we're going. The end of the year finished quite high for me. Beginning of the year started with a bang. I thought this is going to be it. We've turned a corner. Rates were going down. Everything was looking really, really positive. And I'm a one-man band. So unlike Siobhan, I don't know Mark's setup. I don't have a team of people that I have to sort of mentor and sort of watch.
Yeah.
I certainly don't have the leaky bucket system, but I like the sound of it. But for me, I found that the year started with a bang and then went into a bit of a whimper. Now, that's not to say I'm not getting business through, because as you know, I've got social media. I'm getting business from that. But certainly from just the generic sort of word of mouth and just the normal sort of level of business, it did go quiet. But I have seen an uptick in business in the last sort of 4 to 6 weeks. Election-wise, it doesn't seem to be slowing people down, actually. Yeah, there is uncertainty, but I think while we say there's uncertainty, there's also certainty. I think we all do sort of feel that regardless of political opinions, Labour looks a shoo-in. So we know that's coming in. The uncertainty is how are they going to sort of deal with the mess that they're taking on and how they're going to move forward. But actually, that doesn't seem to be stopping people buying. And certainly with the swap rates now easing a bit, the likes of Barclays, HSBC coming out now this week with some, well, we say potentially strong. I mean, Barclays has some really good rate reductions. HSBC, while there's lots of reductions across the board, they're not actually telling you what those rate reductions are. So we're a little bit, it's good news that they're coming down, but but by how much? It's like they're baiting the public. Look, this is potentially where we're going, but you have to stick with us to see what it might be.
Yeah, it's a message to lenders. If you are putting out rate emails, please tell us what they're changing to.
Yeah, how are we supposed to educate people or where we're going? I mean, it'll all be revealed, of course. It's like the magic curtains will open and the rates will fold through.
And then you can't get on their system.
I know, it's crazy. Well, that'll be the downside, of course. It'll be another corpse situation, or as we've seen in the past, HSBC have had history, haven't they, whereby rates are really, really good and then their systems just can't handle the business.
It's interesting because I've spoken to lenders at length on this, and actually what we don't quite appreciate is the volume sometimes that they get is just phenomenal at the moment, which is really oh, hello. Which is really strange. Oh, we have Serena. Hello.
We do. Sorry.
That's all right. Oh, that's okay. So yeah, it is interesting. So I want to get into lead flow, which is a great topic, and you've all been successful in different ways. So interested to know what your approach is to getting leads in the first place, and where should someone start. So I'll try and break it down a bit. Let's look at social. I know Ken and Serena, actually, you've both been very successful with social media and how that's worked. Ken, I love your videos. You always start with your huzzah, which I really like. Where did that come from, and what was the reason for that? Is it just getting that little hook? And how did you start on social?
Yeah, well, let's go with the starting bit, and then I'll move into the huzzah, because it's crazy anyway. So I actually, TikTok was just something for the kids, isn't it? My daughter was doing it. She spent hours on there. I'm like constantly, Anais, come off it. What are you doing? You're wasting your life on it. And then I was part of, when I was an AR, before I went DA, I was part of Mortgage Intelligence. And I'd seen Glenn Russell, who is another mortgage broker who's on TikTok. And he'd been on there for a while. I thought,
he does good stuff. Yeah,
he does. And he's been around for a while. He's been doing it for 5 years now. So, he's well established, got good followers. And I just thought, is it actually, the question is it actually getting you anything? It's great that you're doing it, but are you generating anything? And I met him at a conference and I just started chatting as you do. And it just sort of developed from there. And he said, just give it a go and see. And then I created an account, had a little look, and I got sucked in. As you do. So I started then doing the post. So when I first started, it was, hi, I'm Ken from Contract to Mortgage Services for all your mortgage and protection needs. What I didn't realize when you first start with TikTok is people have already scrolled past you. It's a bit like the swipe you were just on about, Siobhan.
Yeah.
It's boring. There's no real hook. There's no catch. people aren't interested in your name and what your company is. They're interested in what you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And I happened to be watching a program called Catherine the Great, which is like a black comedy that was on TV.
Yeah.
They're based in Russia, and whenever they did anything sort of like significant, like they toast and they smash the glass on the floor, or someone shoots a passing pig, or anything ridiculous, they would shout "Huzzah!" And I don't know why. I just started a video and I went "Huzzah!" I just did it, and then it snowballed from there. And actually, when I talk to people about trying to identify the mortgage brokering community is really, and once you've started watching one, it's like I watch you, Monty. All of a sudden, I might get Serena, or I might get Siobhan, or I might get Mark. You fall into that trap where the algorithm knows you like mortgage brokers. So all of a sudden, every Tom, Dick, and Harry on your TikTok feed is a broker. But what makes me stand out? So if someone said, "Have you seen that guy on TikTok?" Oh, which one? Oh, the guy with brown hair and glasses, because I need glasses to be able to see people. And they go, "Oh, that guy." No, I've not seen him, but I've seen a few people. Which one are you on about? They don't do that now. They don't say, "Oh, the guy with brown hair." They go, "The guy that says huzzah."
Yeah.
And so straight away, I'm identifiable. And everybody's got to find a way to make you stand out. There's a guy that comes on, and what he does, he attaches a microphone to inanimate objects around his house. And he'll have a plant pot, or he'll have a teddy bear. And people go, "Oh, that guy that goes around holding it on it just identifies you."
Yeah.
So for me, it's about, in a market that's starting to become more saturated, how do I, you could say your content might stand out, but what makes you stand out? Because that 5-10 seconds initially when people are scrolling through, that's where you capture people, and they either decide to stick and listen or twist and move on, and you've got to try and get them to stick. So you need something that makes that happen.
Yeah. I was thinking about a naked mortgage broker idea, but I don't think
I've already thought of that. I was going to do the naked mortgage
you
broker.
could probably get away with it, but I don't think I could.
I was just going to do an apron, but then I thought, I mean, listen, I'm skating with the FCA as it is. How far can you push them before they start to ban your content?
And Serena, you go on, Siobhan. Go on.
Yeah, well, I have to say, so Serena, it's lovely to meet you, because my colleague in the office, Sam, said you have to see Serena. She's really good on it. And now I've just started going on Instagram. I see you all the time, and you're always chilled out in the kitchen, and it's really refreshing, but also relatable. And then when you're talking, it doesn't feel staged. It feels approachable and almost like, this is just me. And it's really actually easy to relate to.
Yeah. So Serena, you've got around, I think it's about 6,000 Instagram followers. Is that's been your tool of choice?
Yeah. I'm not huge on TikTok. What I do on Instagram, I feed through to TikTok and to Facebook. But Instagram, I find, is where I actually get my clients from. And their emails will start with, "I've been following you for a while. Thank you so much. The content is so helpful. It's really informative." Like Siobhan's just said, it's so nice that it's approachable as well, because I'll talk about my own experiences, that of, having had blips on my own credit file. So I am relatable, because none of us are perfect. And to go out and say that we are, most of us are self-employed. We're not the ideal client for a lender either, are we? So I think being relatable really helps people. And for me, my starting point was I lost my employed mortgage broker role to the pandemic, and that was it. All I knew was face-to-face networking, the likes of BNI, etc. And I was like, well, where do I start? What do I do? I was like, well, I'm always on social media myself, so let's have a go at that. And I look back and I've kept all my original videos, and I'm really polished. I'm sat there with a neat bun and glasses on and, really corporate looking outfit. And it was boring. It really didn't entertain me. I wouldn't have sat there and watched it, but people did, because there was nothing else to do, luckily, at the time. They were just stuck in the houses. But I started to build a rapport. When I did Couch to 5K, I would walk across back in front of my kitchen and talk about how my day had been, what sort of clients I'd spoken to, how I'd managed to help them. And I can remember jumping on a few of my client calls at the time and then being like, "Oh, we thought you'd just be back and forth on the screen whilst we were talking to you." So it's about, like you say, Ken, being relatable, having something that people want to come back to as well. And for me, I'm that girl on Instagram, that mortgage girl on Instagram. People just know who I am because there aren't as many of us. So although it's becoming a saturated industry, there are still fewer females, I would say. And because I'm just down to earth and will be honest about, you know, everything that I've come across, I think that helps people realize that you're going to get that with me as a client as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. And when does it, what is that, where is that breakthrough period where you start to actually get leads through? Because that's
so for
a
me,
lot of people do it and they don't, you know, if it's not
they
instant,
don't stick with it.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. It's the consistency piece. And for me, I post on my grid at least 3 times a week. I post on my stories every day of the week, and that's whether it's at the weekend or not. And I'm talking about not only being a mortgage and protection advisor, but also being a 30-something-year-old at the moment, being pregnant with twins, and it's relatable because I am someone who also has a mortgage, will have to remortgage next year when I'm unfortunately coming out of maternity leave, where I will have had no income other than SMP. So that's a story to tell. And how will I navigate that? And how do I navigate being a single female who's not only just bought their own property originally, but then moved on from that shared ownership experience? I think it's because it's relatable to so many people that the majority of my clients are female and tend to have followed me for around about the 3 to 6 month mark, because they've also got the ducks in a row at that time as well. They've seen what I've said can help them, you know, how to look at their credit file, etc. And by that point, they've got some decent savings behind them as well. But I am really working on that fact find piece at the moment, where don't wait till you're, inverted commas, ready. Speak to me now so you can get that plan of attack together. And that makes a real big difference. But I would say it's the consistency piece. People want to see every time they go on to their social media that you've put something new out there, that it was educational, but funny and relatable as well. Really helps.
Just a quick one. Age demographics. What do you seem to pull in? Because in my narrow-mindedness, I'm thinking it's hitting the 30-year-old, 35-year-olds younger, and not hitting that slightly older. So do you bother with the Facebooks, or so 2 questions. Do you bother with the Facebook platforms, and where you get your business from, is there definitely an age demographic that you're catering to?
Because everything I post goes from Instagram straight onto Facebook, and then we'll separately post it onto TikTok. I'm hitting all the different age demographics. So my clients can be, I'd say the youngest tends to be 21, 23. And then I might get remortgage clients or onward purchase clients in their late 40s, 50s. So
yeah, I think people will be surprised, won't they?
Yeah,
I think people will be surprised by the older people.
But also, I think what's really helpful about this is that, separate to the likes of face-to-face networking, is we've got insights. Like, we can actually see who is listening, who's engaging, who's coming back to stuff. Whereas you could go to your face-to-face networks and give your spiel, your 60 seconds every week or every month or whatever it might be, and you've just got to hope that someone liked you enough to, next time they meet someone that mentions a mortgage or protection, say your name. We know what's hitting. So, like, you might put some content out there and it flops, or then it gets picked up a week later. We can see that, and we can see at what point they dropped off. So it's much more targeted in that sense. And for me, it's free. Like, it doesn't cost me anything to be on social media. And that's why I'm actually in the process of at the moment starting a 3rd business, because I also do sports massage, of branding for brokers and helping everybody else get onto social media, because there's enough to go around. There is more than enough to go around. None of us need to struggle, but your Yellow Pages doesn't exist anymore, so you wouldn't advertise in that. And face-to-face networking, unfortunately, I think from my experience, has died a death. I just wouldn't waste my time going to it now, when, like you said, Siobhan, I could be in my kitchen talking to 6,000 plus people. To get on the Explore page, I could be speaking to millions of people who then engage, start to follow, become a client. So
and all of this is self-taught, or for you both, or was it?
Absolutely, but that's why I'm coming out with the course that I'm doing, because it's not as simple as that. And I did do it at a time where I had more time on my hands in the pandemic. It's always evolving. It's, you know, it's constantly like they're adding new features and things. But once you've got to grips with actually creating video content or carousels or what have you, it does become relatively easy.
And
can I just ask, Molly?
go on, Mark.
I know Ken mentioned earlier about sort of sticking with it. What What did you have a period of time when you sort of both thought this is not really happening? And I mean, was there like a breakthrough where you needed to sort of? How long did it take to really sort of start momentum?
I think I'll be honest with you. With me, it took to actually get more engagement, because what happens, and it'll be different on Insta, with TikTok, you have to hit 1,000 followers before you can start doing lives. And lives are like this, apart from you can't see the people and they can ask you anything they want. So you're in front of them and they will ask you questions. Once I hit 1,000, I was able to do the lives. That for me was transformative in regards to the fact that people could see straight away, does this guy know what he's talking about? The amount of different variety of questions that are thrown on. I know you might get this on Insta as well, Serena. So people start to actually see your personality a little bit more. They see your reactiveness. They see what you're like when you're answering questions, and they get a sense of what you're like. Because the reels, sometimes it might take you 10 times, 20 times to hit it. And whilst it might look natural, it's not. It's taken time. Sometimes you'll roll them out on the first go. Sometimes you're just meandering and talking, and it's fine. But actually, you trip up so often, you go back. By the time you've practiced it 5 or 6 times because you keep getting it wrong, it just flows. So that takes time. But for me, I would say 6 to 8 months was my switch where actually I started getting people say, you know what, I've seen him so many times. I'm gonna use him. And I've been on there I'm coming up to probably about 20 months now. I've been on the channel. I'm over 10,000, which was quite pivotal for me. I was really aiming for 10,000 plus, but now I'm getting a good steady stream from both my lives and from my reels. So that's how long it took. But so many people fall to the wayside so much earlier because they expect to see things quicker. You've just got to go with a blind passion and just say, no matter what I'm going to get from it, just keep at it consistently hitting it.
Yeah. Can I ask one controversial question? Buying followers. Yes or no?
Oh, yeah.
I've never done it.
No.
And unlike Ken, mine is really off the cuff stuff. I actually don't really spend that much time beforehand, because I'm the sort of person that if I was to do that, I would probably make more errors. And actually, I think the fact that people see that, you know, you do trip over your words, it is sometimes a case of, especially for me at the moment, baby brain, I tell you, it is a genuine thing. I will literally be like, what am I trying to say? And people relate to that. I'll do, unlike you, I don't do lives now. I used to, but I just find that you'd plan so much time around it, and actually it was just easier to do a Q&A. So for me, a Q&A is also really rewarded by Instagram because it's one of their features. And I will literally say, ask me anything. And it might be that they ask about mortgages, it might be that they ask about protection, but they'll ask about me as well. And like, how did I, a 24-year-old, buy a house on my own? And then that'll open up the question about shared ownership. Then we'll get more questions about shared ownership. And it's like you say, it's converting or getting across, should I say, that authority. Like, people want to know, you know, your shit. Like, and we do. Like, it's a case of sometimes you're going, I just need to think about that answer, but you don't really. It's just because you're trying to come across in a certain way. And actually, people don't want that stuffy, suited, booted, office type of person anymore. They want to know, actually, that person cares. I don't care what they dress like. I don't care how they look.
But there are people, aren't there? There are people on both networks which will buy. And I've seen people's following exponentially grow. And I've seen reels that people have done, reels being the little video clips, whereby they've got like 20,000, 30,000, 50, 100,000 views. And I've looked at it and I thought, how have they done? And the only way they could have done it is to have paid for it. But I don't know how that then translates into actually proper leads, proper business, because it's great having going viral and having a million views, isn't it?
To get to 1,000 followers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you can then do the lives and then hopefully.
But I think to get business, you have to be consistent. I think I'll go back to that because it doesn't matter how many people you buy, you can lose them as quickly as you get them.
I want to move on from social because I want to talk to Mark about education and Siobhan about retention. So Mark, I know that first time buyers are a bit priority of yours, and education is one of your superpowers, and that's what we do as well at Corico. That's one of our passions, is that education piece. So how have you used the power of education to create clients, and what do you do?
Yeah, I think for me, as a starter point, it's all about having a passion for wanting to deal with like-minded people. It's a bit like what we just spoke about as well, but doing it. So basically, my office is inside my the CrossFit gym that I train in. Yeah, so I've drilled down the first time buyer niche into fitness, and in particular helping people that do CrossFit and helping with their mortgages. So I'm up here now. The gym's downstairs. I overlook
like
the
that.
Gym. So what I'm really starting to find, I've only had my office here for just over a year, but I've seen a 10% uplift in my business, and I've put it down to that because of the interactions I'm having with people in the gym, mainly. So, just educate. I always ask questions. I'll sometimes be asked a question when I'm in mid-workout and I can't speak. You'd be amazed.
So in the middle of a toaster bar, they're looking up at you, thinking, "Oh, when I get to my burpee, I can go see him and do a mortgage."
What the rates doing, Mark? I can't answer right. But so what I did was, when I first got into the gym, we did a big open day, and loads of the members come along, and lots of other people as well. And it was a celebration to celebrate the opening of the office, and that got my name out there. And it's just continued from there, really, to start really being seen as that go-to person in the local area that really is into fitness. We did a first-time buyer event as well. So just around the education piece, we held a first-time buyer event in the gym. So it's quite a big space. The gym just said to me, look, the owners of the gym just said, look, just use the space. So we did a whole big thing on the Instagram and LinkedIn. I won't be as good as you guys on all of that, but I'll try my best on it. And we did a whole big sort of marketing piece. And I think we got about 25 to 30 first-time buyers come along on the day, of which we've helped with four mortgages since then for their first mortgage. And all that we did was we kept it really open plan, really. We just said, just come along and ask us questions. There were 3 of us there. I'm a one-man band as well, Ken. I've got an advisor about to start soon. But I had my 2 admin girls come along and help me. And we had an equity release guy. We had an estate agent, a solicitor, a will writer, utility warehouse, all experts with stands in the gym that the first-time buyers could come and just go to and ask questions and build relationships with 2 solicitors there, actually. And I mean, it was knackering. I was tired of the day, but it was great because at one point I was talking to someone. I looked around and just see loads of people just walking around, all like young people, and talking to them about mortgages, but also talking to them as well, because that's the environment.
That's excellent.
So, and it just all comes down to wanting to deal with like-minded people and people that have got a shared interest. There'll be times when I'm in a workout, we'll finish, I'll get asked a question, we'll go up to the office in our gym gear and talk mortgages. It's just casual, it's professional, a bit like what you said, Serena. You won't catch me in a suit and tie, it's all about just being relatable to people and just being down to earth, but with professionalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's really cool. I like that.
Continue to drive as well.
Yeah. And you can get fit as well at the same time. It's a win-win.
That's it. Well, I might have to get some help from Ken on TikTok. So I created a mortgage fitness guy account, and I'm stuck on.
Love that. Absolutely love that. And I do CrossFit as well. So I love that connection. Yeah. I do.
Don't do
there's no space. Well, you could though. You could. You're never too old for a toaster bar or a burpee, mate.
For everyone, Monty. For everyone.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll all have to come down to the gym, and then you can do TikToks of all of us in the gym.
Do a workout of the day.
Talking mortgages and working out. That would be great.
Sounds exhausting, doesn't it?
I've done that.
I like that.
Crossover for protection. So I used to go a lot more when I was in the gym beforehand. And there was a big crossover. Like, obviously, you've got your vitality piece. I would do quite a lot of the crossover there because it's important to look after not only your physical but your mental well-being as well. And I've done a lot of that. At the moment I'm not going because I've not been well enough, but there's a big crossover piece and it just completely makes sense.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
just walking on the treadmill.
The conversion as well, which is I'm doing with the people that are in the gym. Funny enough, the conversion rate for protection is there. Because like you say, Serena, you know, they really get it because they're fit and healthy anyway, so the premiums are going to be lower. Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
I tried lead generating in the gym with a t-shirt. So you'd always see people with t-shirts, I'm a personal trainer. And I had a t-shirt that on the back said, I'm a personal mortgage broker. And I thought that was so clever in the gym. Not a single lead did I generate.
The other thing as well,
you need to get a bit more buff, maybe, and then you
I'm going to try. When I hit the peaks of Montiness.
Wear it all the time.
That we've got coming up as well is we are sponsoring the Suffolk Games, so we're going to have a stand where the athletes come in. But I'm going to be competing as well, so I'll be competing and going on the stand, so flipping between the two.
I love that.
We're going to create a bit of a. We're not quite sure yet. We might get a big house and do like a competition and see how long you can hold the house up for, something like that. Yeah, we're just having to think about, you know.
I think, Mark, you're taking it too far.
Not an actual house, Ken.
Oh, not a real house.
Yeah, Bob has commented. Yes, financial fitness. I like that.
Yeah,
there you go.
Sounds good.
Yeah. If anyone has any comments, please, or questions, please post them. But Siobhan, I want to go to sort of the other side of things in terms of 80% of your business. I think I'm right in saying comes from repeat and referral.
Yeah.
How do you get to that point, and what's your strategy around retention of clients?
I think first and foremost is personality. So you've got to find the right team member to suit you. So Mark, Serena, Ken, and even yourself, Monty, you're all face-to-face winners of business. Remortgage book is a different ilk. It's not run under the same pressures of need to get the exchange, because it's a remortgage. You've got a run into it. So I've got brilliant teams, which Sam Knight heads up, and she's really passionate about doing right. So the first thing, her core values are exactly the same as what you guys are echoing. Being there for the client and educating the client. But from the first point, we always educate them to begin with. So what was lovely when Sam came or her team came to have the existing clients, they'd speak to us so boastfully about we've been overpaying, because they understood what the overpaying thing was to begin with. So we were able to then discuss different loan to value brackets. Serena, we do quite a lot of shared ownerships. So then within the initial piece, and obviously Sam revisiting them later, even with Help to Buy, we talk about staircasing. But within all of it, we allow them to know we're there for this transaction and many transactions to come. So what you find when you deal with a mortgage inquiry or qualifications, sometimes it's like get them qualified, get them the purchase and get them done. What we do in turn is then explain to them how we are there for this journey. So this product is the best product to suit you now. We then explain, like your car insurance, every year you shop around to try and get a better deal. Within 2 or 3 or 5 years' time, we educate them what that will look like. Now, when I first set up 10 years ago, a BDM came in from Halifax called Jenny Bray, and she's telling me about her John Lewis loyalty card. And it just kept, I was thinking it over and over and over. And she said, I use this credit card because I like my points, which then got me thinking more and more about this loyalty piece. So again, back to the marketing stuff we do. We built our own CRM system 2 years ago. Within that CRM system, we have an engagement studio for all those people that are existing clients. And what I do with that is try and let them know what they get from us as value. So we have a 12-month campaign, and there'll be soft bits like it's Mother's Day, it's Spring Forward, it's Father's Day. But every half term, I do freebie giveaway for family passes to zoos or parks. And all it would be is a Facebook entry going, name your best holiday destination. Because we learn, if you ask people to respond too much on a competition, they don't like doing it. But if it is, what do you like at Christmas? What's your favourite dinner? You then get more of an uptake because it's just a quick one-liner. But in turn, with the cost of living crisis, for the last 2 years, at springtime, I've given away tomato seeds for our existing database. If they want them, we'll give them tomato seeds to plant up with their kids. We had 150 people request tomato seeds a year ago, and the strawberries got jealous this year. And we had 130 people ask for the strawberries this year. But when I went down the pub down our local high street, one of the ladies came up to me and mentioned, Siobhan, them tomatoes were lovely. It was a really nice thing to do. So really work on the loyalty piece, on why would they want to stay with you, and then explain to them the benefit of being a customer with you as well. But with all of that, and with all of this, it's that getting the business of recommendation and refer a friend, because they liked you so much that they use you. Why would they not tell anyone else? And then not being scared to say that, going, if you've got any friends or family that need any advice, just point them my way. I think sometimes people are so scared of rejection, they don't ask a question. But actually, if you said, I'm really struggling for business at the moment, if you know anyone else that's thinking about moving, just give them my details. People go, oh yeah, actually, I will. Yeah. But you have to ask the question.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Google reviews, isn't it? I mean, I pretty much at the end of the journey for the clients, when they get in the keys, they're going to forget about you. I always give them a link for a Google review. And the amount of business, this is social media is where I'm at now, but I still get my Google leads. And I say, how do you find me? Oh, I read your reviews are amazing. So I thought I'd give you a call. So, but just being confident, you've given a great service. Why shouldn't you say to them, can you do me this? And I've never had somebody say no.
I used to do mine at the end, but I've changed mine to offer now.
We have done the same thing.
All the difference.
So,
because that's my journey. Obviously, we do hold the hand to the end. I say we, it's me. I'm a one-man band as well. But for me, it was an offer, because if a solicitor, disgruntles them, or the estate agent for the vendor starts to annoy them, that's not the review that's based on your service at that point. It's based on the whole process. So I do, and I don't have an issue saying, if you want to give me 5 stars, it would make all the difference. It's helped me grow my business, because not everybody is on Google, on Instagram, social media, what have you. But most people have access or will look at.
Well, I think everybody wants to read a review, don't they? My wife will not let me buy anything off Amazon unless I've read the reviews. So from that perspective, I think reviews are becoming a cultural thing now, where you want to test the market, have a read of the reviews first before you buy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't do anything without reading a review.
No.
At all.
Yeah.
That's what I do now. And I always look for the bad reviews as well to see that that it
gives
just gives
balance,
don't be afraid of the odd bad review, because you can't please everyone, but it does show you
your reaction
it's
to
authentic.
it, because you can respond. So how do you deal with
That's
that
what I was
response?
going to say.
Yeah, you have to respond.
I look for the response.
Google, isn't it? Yeah, got to respond.
Yeah.
If you want to be taken seriously, respond to them. I think Google rewards them as well, because it sees you as someone who is interacting with your client bank.
Correct.
And I think we try not to. I know a company that I used to work for obviously went on a campaign and did them all at once. Clearly went back to their back book, because in 1 month they had like 50 reviews, and it just looked.
Fake.
I want to say more than tacky, but it just didn't look good. It didn't look authentic or genuine, and anybody else probably would have had the same view on that. So like, even if you go, okay, I'm going to start doing this, maybe do the last month and then go back a little bit further. But I honestly feel when I changed it to on offer, it made all that difference, because they were focused on purely what I'd done for them, and the comments then reflected that. Like, she was so responsive, got me to offer really quickly. Answered all my questions, because they'll forget as well, what did you do? Yes, I might have chased the solicitors for them afterwards, and I might have told the estate agent to be mindful of what they were chasing for, etc. But my job was to get them to offer, and that's what I've done. So
I think that's the important thing about being a broker, though, isn't it? Is that you're always learning. So even from this now of us being together, now I'm thinking, I'm going to change that now.
Are you taking notes for the group? Can you all?
Can you share it on WhatsApp?
Can you all share your notes to all of us, please?
Well, let's talk about WhatsApp. WhatsApp has revolutionized how we communicate with clients as well.
We've just started actually using WhatsApp as part of our protection process, actually, and it's working really well. It's really interesting, and WhatsApp I'm much more likely to respond to a WhatsApp than even a text. I hate text. I hate text.
I don't
you
have
ignore all my texts
anymore, do I?
That's because you're blocked, Ken. But WhatsApp is I don't know. It's something. I don't know. It's
It
something
really
more
helps with
friendly
documents
and
as well,
personal
because
about
sometimes
it.
it can be difficult, like the size of a document, but they can
Yeah.
send PDFs quite easily on WhatsApp. So I will say to my clients, like if they've tried, that just pop it on WhatsApp. It's absolutely fine, because I'll use the desktop version to download the document. We're all good. It's not
It works really well for me on WhatsApp. If I'm doing a mortgage for 2 first-time buyers, I'd set up a group.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
And brand it up. Make sure you brand it up. So when you've got it, name it your company and put your logo on. Everything, as long as it's, and that's what I was saying about the consistency piece. It's not just about being consistent on social media or with whatever you're doing. It's consistently how you look as well across the board. People want to know, oh yes, I found the right social media, I found the right website, I found the right WhatsApp, etc. It gives authority as well. People are like, she actually cares enough, or he actually cares enough to make it look neat and on brand.
I'm going to say something controversial.
Go on, Siobhan. Go on.
I've actually got rid of a lead source. Can you believe it? Because again, the next stage, once you've got this, is actually working out what lead sources do and don't work for you as a business.
100%. That is very, very important.
Yeah, for me, it was we were using a lot of time and resource, and they were expecting a lot of qualification. They were then doing the administrative things, and then they weren't even handing it back nicely. They're almost like, I've taken you for your services, you provided me so I can get my sale, and then no bringing back. So actually, by getting rid of the contract, it's allowed my guys to work more efficiently, because they're not dealing with stuff that wasn't going to materialise.
This is why I've never signed up to working with an estate agent. When I spoke to other people who were longer in the tooth than I was, they would say that exactly the same thing, or they had to take everything. So the stuff that actually I probably would have sifted out myself anyway naturally, they were having to take and spend time on a lower rate, because they were having to pay for it, etc. And I just thought, that's not what I want to do. And actually, the type of clients that find me, because I'm so genuinely and honestly and authentically myself on social media, are already aligned with me. They're not people that I wouldn't want to work with. They are people that are attracted to me because we've got something that brings us together, which is a more like for like relationship.
It's funny you say it, because I just recently stepped away from BNI because I was finding that I was just getting the type of referral just didn't fit the type of client.
It wasn't aligned with you.
And I was just wasting my time, really. So yeah, I stepped away from that about a month ago. It's so refreshing.
I think that's a really important lesson for people.
So time consuming.
We're choosy now about who we deal with as introducers, because we want to deal with like-minded people who are going to share our brand ethics and our DNA, and that's the type of people we want to work with, and the clients will see that as well, which sort of goes on to I was going to finish off really just on what changes you've seen in the past few years in clients' needs, and how do we relate to this new breed of customers. And actually, Serena, to your point, for me, being authentically yourself is really important, because I believe that the new clients of the future and today want to deal with people who reflect their own standards and their own ethics and their own set of things.
I think it's always been though, isn't it? People do buy.
Sorry, go on.
No, sorry. I was just going to say it's always been the case that people buy people. I mean, that's the nature of our business. And when you are still front facing, as some of us are here, it still is really important. But the authentically yourself, the buying into you, I think people spend more time getting to know you through the different mediums that are available now to work out whether or not you do align with them. Whereas in the past, maybe they didn't spend so much time because there wasn't so much access to you. But no, it's a really good point.
Sounds like I went to Skipton the other day, and we just changed all our signage to have our faces in the bottom, because we don't do much face-to-face stuff anymore. So putting a face at the bottom, it just makes the whole email like, oh, it's a human. And that sounds so silly, but
that's an interesting point. Yeah,
I think
especially when you
go on. I think the most really important thing is just be yourself. Don't try and be something you're not. And trust who you are, and trust what you do is good. And I sometimes, because I can be quite a critic of myself, it's just my nature. And what I do when I'm in that mode, I go and look at my Google reviews and just remind myself of what clients are telling me. So be yourself.
Love that, Mark. Don't worry, you are loved. We're a loving community. No, I mean we all get. You know, I've been very open. I go up and down, and I see admission of that as a strength, not weakness.
Yeah.
And because we're all human, and you go up and down in life, and sometimes
I think that's what they want as well, because the industry
100%. Yeah,
so
I'm not a robot.
Like when I bought my first house, it was very formal. It felt very intimidating. I didn't feel like I could be honest because I was scared to be honest. I was, but it definitely felt like an intimidating appointment with someone that came to my mum's house in a suit with a briefcase. And I was really intimidated by that scenario.
Yeah.
My mum had long since paid off her mortgage, and she was back in the day where she had to have her dad on the mortgage because she was under 21. Like her experience was so different to what mine was. So I'm glad that she did say to me, like, use a mortgage broker. They're a professional. They know what they're doing. If you're struggling, I'll pay for it if necessary, but I can't answer your questions. And nearly 13 years ago, when I bought my house, the internet was less available as well, or we weren't on it as much. So we need to be humans that they can ask a silly question to, because I'd say that's probably the thing I get the most. Can I ask you a silly question? Or my circumstances are so unique, because not enough is still money, finance is still taboo, and people don't have those conversations and openly sit and go, yeah, I managed to get a mortgage even though I've got a default or what have you. They're just like, I got a mortgage. Yeah, I'm buying that big ass house.
So what I'm going to do is sever the connection with the past. So the young audience comes into you and says, my mum and dad said, and I'll automatically go, right, every mortgage advice is bespoke to the individual. So whatever opinion you might have from down the pub or the gym class, and they might have a cheaper interest rate, they don't take into account your situation. Advice is bespoke to you for your situation, and it won't be the advice you might have in 2 or 3 years' time, because you will change. Again, the taboo word around the remortgage, I felt it was what all people did when they got into debt, and it's something that was ingrained in me from a young age.
Yeah, because they always say, I'd have to remortgage the house. That was such a saying, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you've got to redo that, and that's why I use a car analogy. Like when you're due for renewal, we need to see what the best rate is. We might move your debt to a new house, or we might do what footballers do and just substitute within that product range. Again, using accessible terminology that's completely relatable, but also explain to the client, this is as simple as what I've just explained, because all you're understanding is it's a product. Forget about the jargon. We are finding a product to suit you. And then in a few years' time, we'll find another product to suit you. Nothing more complicated than that. And then you can see people relax, their body language just go, I can do that.
That's why I think the social media / education piece is so important. On social media, myself and Ken are educating people to understand what you're saying there, that it's not as complex. It doesn't need to be as complex. And that's why I'm saying it to you in plain English, because it doesn't need to be. I understand the lingo, so you don't have to, basically. So let me just speak to you like the adult that you are.
Yeah, I love that. Andy has said, often I say no question is silly if you don't know the answer. 100%. Reynold wants to know what third-party app for WhatsApp integration people use. Do you use one? We actually we actually use Meet Parker for ours, which is really good. I can recommend them. I don't know if you guys use anything.
I don't use anybody. No, I just
generically
use it.
Desktop.
Yeah. All right, cool. We're running out of time. I could talk for ages with you guys. It's been very interesting, very knowledgeable. So any final words of wisdom to both brokers and borrowers alike in today's market? What's a final sentence from you all to leave your viewers with?
Mine's be treat people as you want to be treated. I think that in itself summarises what we are as a broker community.
100%.
I think on the social media, for me, for brokers are out there wanting to get into the space, just be consistent, but be patient. Nothing happens overnight.
Like that. Mark?
For me, it's just be yourself and be there to give solutions to problems.
Serena?
For me, it would be to listen for both us as brokers and for applicants as well. If we listen, take the time, be patient, we're always going to get to the right result.
Love that. And yeah, thank you all. We are out of time. So thank you very much to our guests, Mark, Serena, Siobhan, and Ken. Really, really enjoyed that, and thank you for making it explicit as well. That's brilliant. We have started shouting out Star Broker of the Week at the end of each webinar, so please tag MPowered on socials. You can nominate Star Broker on the MPowered website as well. And the Star Broker of this week, I think it's a fix, actually. It's Jamie Lennox, Demora Mortgages. Well done, Jamie. We're happy to recognise Jamie as our Star Broker of the week. He's always quick to create and share helpful content on the latest industry news, supporting both fellow brokers and consumers. His clients also praise him for simplifying the mortgage process and delivering consistent quality service. Great job, Jamie. Well done, mate. Remember, we are
nice videos on TikTok as well.
Yeah, he does do very good videos.
Very smooth.
Remember, we are bi-weekly now, so none next week, but back the week after with another humdinger of a show. And finally, remember, you can listen to all of these on Spotify. If you have enjoyed this, I've been Andrew Montlake. If not, I've been Richard Price. On a serious note, though, it is the election next week, and I know it seems our politicians are not delivering, and there may be a lot of general apathy, but I would encourage all of you to vote for someone, even if it is Count Binface. Just not Reform. Until next time, have a great week. Huzzah!